Okay. All right. Now let's do the modem dial-up. There you are. There all you are. I'm so sorry. Ugh. Live stream fail. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Simply Cyber. I am a hot mess, your host. uh, I'm sorry. Good morning, everybody. I'm Gerald Auger. If it's your first time here, this is Simply Cyber's morning cybersecurity threat briefing, also called First Things First, where we are going to be dishing up hot takes on the current news stories so you can go into work today and absolutely crush it, or stay abreast if you're looking to break in the field and be able to answer that interview question that you absolutely get. How do you stay current in cybersecurity? As I mentioned, I'm a little bit of a hot mess this morning. I had my coffee, went and taught, got home, had a quick meeting, had to reset some multi-factor authentication tokens, and then went live on the wrong day. So just as a reminder, the restream for tomorrow will be recreated because I just went live with it, which means my streaming software is going to think that I already did this meeting like a bonehead. So, but it is a perfect segue because what I wanted to tell you is I'm working on this right now and I didn't have time to make this look pretty. But listen, if you want to know when like the next streams are, I'm trying to figure out a better way. I've had a bunch of people message me and say, how do I know when your next morning briefing is? A lot of people like this morning briefing. If you go to this URL right here, simplycyber.io FTF, or you can share it with people. It stands for First Things First. It will take you to the live streams, the current live streams for the Simply Cyber channel. I don't have a way to add calendar invites and stuff like that. And I'm not huge on the following, but if you hit the bell for notifications on YouTube, you will be made aware when I go live, right? So it's not about the algorithm. It's not about smashing the like button. It's like literally the easiest way for you to know when I go live with the morning threat briefing is to hit the bell for notifications. Because like literally, I don't know if you'll see it. Like literally, it'll say, Simply Cyber's live. So you could, I'm trying to make it easy to share with people so you can find it. Okay, so FTF, First Things First. All right. I can't believe I launched on the wrong day. What a rookie. This is my first live stream. All right, guys. I hope everyone's well now that I've had that diatribe. Hey, Russell, good to see you. Thanks, Kimberly. That bell for notifications, it's a lifesaver. Yeah, FTF. The thing is, I'm trying to make it easy so you guys can share with other people because a lot of people are getting value out of it. All right, let's dig into it. If you guys want to play along, you know where to go. It's cisoseries.com. Cisoseries.com is where we get our morning threat briefing. Yeah, exactly, Chip. You got it. It really has been. You know what's funny? Real quick before we dig in. Once I went live, like there's usually like 30 of you like hanging out, waiting, and I love it. And I went live and it said 0 and then it said 1. I'm like, hey. All right, let's dig in, y'all.
From the CISO series, it's Cybersecurity Headlines.
It's Thursday, January 27th, 2022. White House releases new cybersecurity strategy. The strategy was published as a memorandum from the Office of Management and Budget and intended for the heads of all executive departments and agencies. It calls on agencies to move toward a zero-trust architecture, requiring them to implement enterprise identity and access controls, such as multi-factor authentication. Agencies must also create a complete inventory of authorized devices, which will be monitored according to CISA specifications. Agencies now have 30 days to designate an implementation lead and 60 days to submit a plan.
Okay. So this is all aligned with President Biden's presidential memo that he sent out in, I want to say like January 9th or something like that. Or in October, and then he released another one in January. But basically, we are marching towards zero trust architecture at the federal level. By the way, zero trust architecture is very difficult. You don't just buy an appliance and you get zero trust architecture. You don't Google zero trust architecture and like follow a recipe. It's a complex philosophical concept of how you are approaching information security in the way that you're network and endpoints and technology stack and the people who are using it, how they are trusted in the environment. Now, in this message, they said, you need to basically come up with a plan for each of the agencies in the next 2 months on how they're going to implement zero trust architecture. They mentioned MFA, multi-factor authentication. I'm not going to say it's easy to implement. It's an excellent control. Thank you, Sue S. Munez 90 for subscribing. Listen, multi-factor is an easy concept for people to get, right? Like, oh, I sign up for my bank, I put multi-factor on, I get a text message. Listen, I have deployed multi-factor at an organization of about 1,000 people, 1,000-person organization. It's not easy. It's not trivial, right? When you disrupt people's workflows, it is a pain point. And then you have all sorts of like weird systems that they don't support it, or or it's a shared system, like 8 people all log into this machine. They're doing shifts, right? So you have to account for all these things. It's not like you flip the switch and it's multi-factor all day, every day. Then they also mentioned, something else that, what did they mention? They mentioned another thing about zero trust architecture. Oh, asset inventory. They said you need to be able to have a list of all your assets so you can then be able to understand what's allowed, like what assets are allowed on the network and which are not because they're not in the inventory. Asset inventory might be the #1 control in the CIS top 18, formerly top 20. Everybody talks about asset management. It's wicked hard to do. It's not easy. People bring stuff in all the time. There's BYOD devices all over the place. It's not easy. In fact, today's live stream talking with Ricky Tan about cyber cartography is like how to be excellent at asset management as a quick tie-in.
Trickbot gets trickier. Trickbot. It's not just a clever name. The operators of the pernicious Trojan revised it to now include a set of new features to prevent reverse engineering attempts. According to researchers at IBM Trustier, recent samples show the addition of an anti-debugging script designed to trigger a memory overload if a researcher performs code beautifying techniques to make it easier to read, ultimately crashing the browser. Trickbot also includes base64 obfuscation, redundant junk script and code, and native function patches to slow down the work of security researchers.
Yeah. So if you guys, so this is good. This is a good story. It's interesting from a cybersecurity practitioner perspective. Okay. This is more about us working on ourselves, right? And being aware of the way that adversaries are adopting and adapting. So check it out. If you've ever analyzed malware, and Trickbot is like a really great piece of malware as far as like sophistication, adaptation, maintenance, and everything like that. Give a hat tip to the authors of Trickbot. Even though it's malicious and I don't like it and I don't support their mission, you do have to have a hat tip from a engineering perspective. Okay. Malware, if you don't know, decent malware will actually look to see if it's analyzed. When we put stuff in Intezer, when we put stuff in any run, when we put stuff in Cuckoo's sandbox, right? Joe Sandbox, whatever you want, there's certain things that the malware can look at to determine if it is in a sandbox. If you're running Procmon or Regmon or, a Pate DNS, like if you're running any of these like regular security analyst, malware analyst tools, binaries, the bad guys know it. They can look in running processes and see if Procmon's running. You know what? Carl in accounting does not run Procmon, right? Susie CEO does not run Procmon. Jerry, malware analyst, runs Procmon. So if it sees those processes running, it will collapse on itself. It won't execute. That's why running it dynamically in a sandbox isn't always the best solution, because sometimes it won't execute or it'll execute a fake way. Also, they said that Trickbot's actually added some junk code. That's a really standard practice where you like spend all this time deobfuscating a function call that doesn't actually go anywhere. It's wicked frustrating. As much as we see in active defense and cyber deception of coming up with techniques to waste an attacker's time and frustrate them, bad guys do it just as much as we do to frustrate the analyst and make you want to give up or chase a rabbit hole and not find what the actual function of that code is.
VPN Lab shuttered in global takedown. Europol worked with investigators in 10 nations, including the US and Canada, to take down the VPN service, posting notices on vpnlab.net as of January 20th. The service has been around since 2008, allegedly offering encrypted communications and secure channels for threat actors. In all, the takedown seized or shut down 15 servers. Analysis of these servers led investigators to find attacks in progress on over 100 other organizations. Security analysts note, however,
Wow.
that these types of services are easy to quickly spin up, with the use of Tor layered with a VPN service providing similar protection.
Okay, so I mean, I don't want to say this is an old story, but if you see here, this says seized January 17th. We talked about this. If you're a regular of First Things First, you remember we talked about this 2 weeks ago. So I don't know if like this is the follow-up that VPN Lab went out of business now. No surprise when you lose most of your client base, the people who are paying your bills, and they stop writing checks. It's not a very successful business anymore. I don't care if your business is hiding ransomware threat actors or selling cupcakes. If people aren't buying your product, you're not making any money and you go out of business. It's basic economics. So whatever. Like this is a whatever story. Like no kidding. Like whatever. CISO series. Like I guess they needed to fill the space.
Microsoft warns of info reading phishing attack. Microsoft issued a warning that hundreds of Office 365 customers are getting phishing emails trying to trick them into granting OAuth permission that would let attackers create inbox rules, read and write emails and calendar items, as well as read contacts. The app that requests the permission is called Upgrade and appears to come from a verified publisher. Microsoft has deactivated the malicious app in Azure Active Directory. This is a type of attack called consent phishing, which tricks the user into granting access without having to hand over actual passwords. Microsoft says that reports of consent phishing have been on the rise in recent years. And now a word from...
Okay, so this is a good one. Open Notepad, open your journal if you're more of an analog person, because we're going to have to educate our end users on this one. We constantly tell our end users, hey, listen, don't put your username and password. That's what phishing is, right? Credential harvesting. They're looking to trick you into logging into a fake website. Look at the URL, question what you click on, et cetera, et cetera. This attack right here is a little bit more novel because they don't actually need your creds. They're getting you basically to consent to run something. This is kind of akin, at least from the story that I took out of it, this is akin to having a malicious attachment to an email and asking them to run it. I'm going to have to read this article a little bit more to understand what the nuances are. And more importantly, this is a key takeaway. More importantly, think about your end user's perspective of what the attack looks like. You don't need to get into like how technical it is or what consent is or why they're running it on your network and everything like that. You just need to tell them, hey, attackers are doing this. Watch out for this. If you see it, let me know, period, right? Like sweet and simple. Watch out for this. This is what they're doing. People will respond to that. And again, no surprise. This is why you have to stay so up to date on information security or cybersecurity. You can tell I'm a graybeard because I call it InfoSec. But threat actors are constantly changing their tactics, right? If something doesn't work because we stopped it or blocked it or fixed it, they move on to the next thing. They're very, very agile, right?
Our sponsor, Deepwatch. Increasing rank commission fined Intel for anti-competitive behavior, hitting them with a then record fine of 4% of their annual revenue. Now the EU General Court overturned the decision. This ruling involved rebates Intel gave to PC makers to allegedly squeeze out AMD, resulting in the 1.06 billion euro fine. The court found that the European Commission failed to show to the requisite legal standard that the rebates were an anti-competitive risk. This ruling can still be appealed to the European Court of Justice, although both Intel and EU competition chief Marguerite Vestager said they are reviewing the ruling.
Okay, I mean, whatever. This is kind of interesting, but not really relevant, in my opinion, to information security. If someone thinks it is in chat, throw it out there. But like basically, Intel was being sued for antitrust because they were influencing buyers and manufacturers to not go with AMD chips, which, whatever. Intel won the court case, but I mean, based on the surface, it sounds like they were committing or trying to push antitrust type activities. At the end of the day, I don't care. I need a chip in my computer. AMD's got its strengths and weaknesses. Intel, same thing. So, whatever. The big boys are fighting over big dollars. It doesn't trickle down and affect me. And then, by the way, can we just real quick, Bloomberg? Like Bloomberg I don't know which I like less, the Bloomberg stories or the stories where it's just the one sentence, like that outlet. Like I think it's Bloomberg. I think Bloomberg irritates me more, but I get it. I get it. You know, whatever. Printed media is a failed business, and they're trying to cash it.
A look at crypto money laundering. The analysts at Chainalysis released their 2021 cryptocurrency money laundering report, finding that funds laundered in crypto increased 30% on the year to $8.6 billion, although that's well short of 2019's record year of $10.9 billion. It's estimated this accounts for 0.05% of all cryptocurrency volume. For the first time since 2018, centralized exchanges did not receive a majority of illicit funds, accounting for 47%. This is largely the result of the rise of DeFi protocols, which received 17% of illicit funds in 2021, up almost 2,000% since last year. Scammers mostly preferred depositing funds into centralized exchanges, while crypto thieves preferred to move funds to DeFi.
Interesting. Okay, so first of all, shout out to Charles Finfrock.
I'm a crypto evangelist. I love it, love it, love it.
The man knows a thing or two about laundering money on cryptocurrency. This is interesting just for a situational awareness of understanding what's going on in the market. 2019 was the year of ransomware, right? If you guys remember, that was like a pretty big year. So I'm not surprised around this. It is interesting that it had a downtick and then went back up 30%, they said, in money laundering activities. So all that says to me is more criminal enterprises are moving into digital currency, right? There's more of a need to use crypto because it's easy to transition. It's easy to transfer. It is anonymous in some way, but it can be traced. It can be tracked. If you're interested in more about money laundering and crypto analysis, go back and watch the replay of the Charles Finfrock live stream on Simply Cyber. He's an expert in money laundering, and we talked a lot about this. You know, I mean, this is interesting, but again, it's just interesting to know that the criminal empires are, doubling down, if you will, on crypto, which is not a surprise if you look at our current state of like decentralized economy and stuff like that. So this is an interesting water cooler point. It doesn't change what I do day to day in my job.
Apple.
Where can I find the link this afternoon's live stream? Go to Simply Cyber. Here, go here. Oh, by the way, thanks for the squad membership join. Nicholas Stye, I saw that pop up. Much love. Appreciate the support. Just if you guys want, you can go here, Simply Cyber /FTF. That'll take you to all my upcoming live streams. I did it for First Things First, but it's really for everything, including that Ricky Tan interview later today.
Publishes Personal Safety User Guide. Since the launch of AirTags last year, there have been no shortage of theoretical and very real-world situations where they've been used to impinge on personal safety and privacy, with stalking a primary concern.
Okay.
Soon after launch, Apple published an initial round of support resources to address these concerns and has now expanded them into a full personal safety user guide. The guide deals with AirTags specifically, advising that the Find My app will notify you if an unknown AirTag is seen moving with you for a while. It also includes how to manage share settings, block unknown sign-in attempts, and restore backed up data.
Okay. So, I mean, good on Apple from a responsible organization understanding that their product is being used by bad people to hurt good people, stalking, creeping, But here's my thing. Like, I'm glad that they launched this, right? Personal safety user guide, but I hope that they're a little bit more in your face with the personal safety, right? I hope that they have pop-ups and I hope that they default to more secure settings, because I don't know like about you guys, but I'm less likely to like get these things and then go to this website and then kind of look through it, and like none of this looks interesting. I don't see pictures. I know that's going to sound harsh, but these are all like look at this. This isn't like easy to digest. People aren't going to consume this unless they're already victimized and then they're incentivized to want to figure out how to fix the problem. I wish Apple was a little bit more proactive with pushing this, right? Maybe that's me being a jerk thinking that they need to do more, even though they developed this entire guide. But I think I'd like to see this get pushed in people's faces a little bit more, or like a video on, here's best practices using the personal safety user guide. You know what I mean? Because these AirTags, man, they're creepy. They're real creepy.
Cracking your locked crypto wallet. Back in 2018, Dan Reich and a friend spent $50,000 on Theta tokens, at the time worth 21 cents apiece. They were transferred to a Trezor One hardware wallet. The value of the tokens fluctuated, but the two had forgotten the PIN and couldn't access them, facing erasure of the wallet if they guessed wrong 16 times in a row. By the end of 2020, the value of those tokens had risen into the millions. In early 2021, the two turned to hardware hacker Joe Grand. Grand built on an approach called wallet fail to force the PIN and wallet key to be copied to RAM at boot up, which, thanks to a fault injection attack, were readable. Getting the timing right on this required thousands of tries using different power levels impacting the microcontroller to pull off the exploit. The approach worked after 3.5 hours. Grand received a portion of the wallet proceeds, and since May has helped others who have lost wallet access recover funds, as well as researching how to make the wallets more secure overall.
Very cool. All right, so this is nice. I mean, when Bitcoin first exploded a couple years ago, you remember people were like digging through landfills trying to find USB drives that they had thrown away. This is interesting that this guy's got like basically a boutique business on popping hardware wallets. I mean, obviously, I mean, it's not hard now for someone to steal a hardware wallet and then can contract him out in some way and be like, oh, can you help me get my wallet? Right. So there is that. I do also find it interesting that he's doing this really complicated advanced attack and helping improve the security, which I get, but then he's effectively going to make it harder for himself to help people who are truly locked out of their wallets from getting access to their money. But certainly a boutique business, it gets a percentage. I would assume he takes a cut of whatever's in the wallet. So very cool. I'm not a hardware hacker. I've dabbled, but the people who do it really do enjoy messing with hardware. It's a nice little subset of the community.
Every time there's a new breach,
All right, so that is going to do it for this week. I came in so hot today, guys, that I didn't even have all of my little things ready, but I do want to tell you guys about what's happening later today. Let me do this real quick. Shabam! Listen, later today, we're going to have Ricky Tan on talking about cyber cartography. I told you earlier how important asset management is. Like, it's really important, but it's like kind of boring. It's hard to do. It's super dynamic. If you're keeping your assets on a spreadsheet, it's already out of date. There are systems that do it, but again, they're not always the best. So what are some techniques? What are some ways we can identify assets? Now, let's put that aside because that is kind of a boring topic. Let's talk about cyber cartography as a role, as a job, as a function. How do you do it? Who needs it? Where do you get the skills? Like Ricky's going to come on. He is the YouTube content creator for the YouTube channel Cyber Spatial. And this dude is awesome at storytelling. I'm going to try to coax him into telling some stories today so we can really appreciate that skill set that he's got. Guys, I really appreciate you bearing with me as I screwed up this morning and totally screwed up the live stream going live on tomorrow's broadcast instead of today's. I looked quickly. I wasn't paying attention. It's my fault. If you guys want to continue the conversation, feel free to go over to simplycyber.io/Discord to join the Discord. It's absolutely free. And there's a ton of good people. A lot of the people who are in chat right now hang out in that Discord, and it's a good time, right? So we always enjoy sharing that with each other. Let me do my outro music. I'll look at a couple chats here. Jess Bishop, good to see you. It's been a minute. Brian. Nicholas Dye, again, thanks for joining the squad. The YouTube membership community, I really appreciate the support. It helps us do all these wonderful initiatives that we've been working on. So I will see you guys today at 4:30 p.m. Eastern time. And if you can't make it today at 4:30 p.m. Eastern time, come by 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, where we will do your morning cybersecurity threat briefing. Again, one last time, if you want to share it with anyone, the way to do it is go to simplycyber.io/first things first, okay? FTF. You can do FTF upper, FTF lower, first things first, upper, lower. I came up with all the iterations of it so you guys could totally knock it out. All right, guys, be good to each other. thank you so much for bearing with me, and we will see you this afternoon at 4:30. Take care.